Intellectual Evidences for the Existence of the Creator and His Perfection. Authored by Adam Assad. The Cosmological, Cause and Effect, Evidence. 1. The universe came into existence. 2. Everything which comes into existence is caused to exist by something else. 3. There cannot be an infinite series of past causes. 4. Therefore, there exists a first cause which did not come into existence. In other words, the first cause always existed. Explanation. The universe is not eternal. This means it did not exist at one stage. If something doesn't exist, then it can't bring itself into existence. This is not just unlikely, no, rather this is impossible. Big claim, you think? Let's see. If the universe brought itself into existence, this would have to mean it existed before it existed, because only something that exists can cause something else to exist. Is this really the kind of nonsense you want to believe in? The universe didn't exist at one stage, but during that stage, it existed? Make up your mind. I urge you, wake up and smell the contradiction here. Effects can't cause themselves, they're dependent on a cause other than themselves. This is not some opinion. No two sane individuals could ever differ on this. That's like rejecting that your parents caused your existence and then, in order to make sense of your being here, you claimed you brought yourself into existence. Just explain to me, how would that work? You, before you existed, decided you wanted to exist. No idea how you're making decisions, by the way, since you're non-existent, but whatever, and so you willed for it to happen. Who knows how, and poof, there you were. Yeah, I'm sorry, you haven't managed to make sense of it actually. In fact, all you managed to tell me really was that you're an idiot. So to expand on this, I'd like you to ponder the following. A child cannot exist before his parents. B. A child cannot come into existence at the same time as his parents. C. A child can only come into existence after his parents have already existed. Now if you agree with the above, which come on, you have no choice but to, then you're compelled to believe the same thing about this universe, i.e. that it could not have caused itself, and whatever caused it, is separate from it and precedes it. What is also worth mentioning in this regard is the intellectual principle which states that something needs to be possessed in order for it to be provided. Allow me to illustrate. I can't give you $1 if I don't have $1. I couldn't give you mouth to mouth if hypothetically, I didn't have air in my lungs. I couldn't give you a smile if I didn't have a mouth. Sounds creepy, I know. So tell me please, how do you expect the universe during its state of non-existence to provide itself with existence? It didn't possess existence. How did it provide itself with it? Rhetorical question, only put forth to show the atheist that he's not only an atheist, but also an intellectual. Made up word, but you catch my drift. Moving on. Now as for the first cause of all that exists, then it is impossible that this cause be dependent on another cause for its existence, because first off, we're talking about the first cause here, and secondly an infinite series of past causes is impossible, because what this really means is that there aren't any causes, not to mention that our existence rejects the possibility of this being the case. I will expand on this in the next point. Hence the first cause must have always existed. Having trouble believing this for some reason? This should help. There are 3 ways of categorizing something in terms of its existence, and 3 ways only. Either 1. The existence of this thing is mandatory, its non-existence is impossible. 2. The existence of this thing is possible. 3. The existence of this thing is impossible. An example of 1 would be the first cause, because everything that exists apart from it is dependent on it to come into existence, and not only that but to stay in existence. Therefore its existence is mandatory for the existence of other beings, and its non-existence is impossible and unimaginable due to the existence of other beings. An example of 2 would be everything that exists apart from the first cause, like the universe and ourselves, for example. An example of 3 would be hypothetical concepts that the mind rejects with certainty, leaving no room for doubt in its impossibility. Such as, a part of an object being larger or greater than the object as a whole, 1 + 1 + 1 equaling 1, for example, something moving yet being still at the exact same time, something being in 2 places at once, the gathering between two extremes, an antithesis, etc. The first cause must be uncreated, response to the who created God fallacy. Evidence. 1. The universe exists. 2. A creator brought the universe into existence. 3. A creator requiring creators would necessitate infinite regression. 4. Infinite regression means no progress. 5. The universe would never have progressed into existence. 6. But it exists. 7. Infinite regression is proven false. 8. The universe must have an uncreated creator. Explanation. This is bound to blow you away if you haven't already heard this. We've already established that the mere existence of the universe is an undeniable evidence for the existence of the first cause. It doesn't stop there though, and this is the part that will really have you on the edge of your seat. It's a figure of speech. I don't care if you're not actually on a seat, being that the universe is also an undeniable evidence that this cause be an uncreated first cause. Hey, you over there, here's a cup, mind grabbing me some water? Sure, looks at the guy behind and says, hey bro, you mind pouring me a cup of water? Now imagine an infinite series of people are asking the person behind them to pour them a cup of water. Hey, you mind pouring me a cup of water? Remember, this is infinite, it's never going to end. This goes on infinitely. Alright, enough messing around now. It's time for the punchline. More of a question than a punchline really, but still, let me ask you, is that cup of water ever going to reach the first guy who asked for it? Nope, it's not even going to be poured to begin with, ever. Likewise with the universe, had it required an infinite series of creators, infinite regression, nothing would ever be produced, no creation could ever come about, because the series is regressing and not progressing, hence no progress will ever occur, just like that cup of water will never be poured. There would be no creation. But since there clearly is, this undeniably necessitates the existence of an uncreated creator. The design evidence. 1. Everything in the universe manifests complex design. 2. The universe must either have been created by a designer, or produced by random causes. 3. Random causes never produce complex design. 4. The universe must have been created by a designer. Explanation. This is one of those things that really doesn't require an explanation due to just how bloody obvious it is. With that said, I'll give it a try. If I was to show you a child's drawing of a dolphin, which quite frankly looked a bit more like some scribble on a piece of paper, what would you think of this child's drawing? Would you think it was an attempt to draw something in particular, a dolphin, or would you think that they randomly swayed their pencil across the paper a couple times, and it just so happened that the end result turned out to be a dolphin-looking figure? How would you know for sure? You'd give them another go at producing the same drawing right, and if they happened to draw the dolphin-looking scribble again for the second time, you'd lean more towards the dolphin figure being an intentional attempt. However, if the figure looks completely different from the first drawing, you'd lean more towards the dolphin figure being an unintentional and random outcome. Let's say the dolphin figure comes up every time you ask the child to draw, like 10 times in a row. Wouldn't this be clear evidence that this figure was designed and not random? This example is regarding something so basic, yet the repetition of this basic figure causes an undismissible conviction that it was designed. Now how about a drawing of a beautiful cottage house, with them typical round windows, and wooden plank exterior, a river flows beside it, there are trees and the birds are feeding their young, the sun is shining bright through the gaps between the clouds, flower beds of all colors imaginable overwhelm the grasslands surrounding the house, and so on. This type of drawing doesn't even have to be repeated for us to have that undismissible conviction that it was designed. Now how about this whole universe, with all that is in it, compared to this feeble, in comparison of course, drawing? How can we be convinced that the drawing of a speck of this universe be designed, but when it comes to the entire actual, more complex universe, it isn't? Not to mention the drawing convinced us of its design without repetition. This universe is in a constant state of repetition in its design. every day these systems are going according to the same designed process again and again and again without failure. If you fail to understand this, then you're extremely weak-minded, and I pity you. Maybe give it another read. If however you understand this, but choose to reject it, then you might as well stop reading now, because your type wouldn't know the truth if it smacked them right in the face. Here it is, right now, doing just that, and you're rejecting it. Goodbye. The action evidence. 1. The window broke. 2. Who broke the window? 3. It broke by chance. 4. The above response is a fallacy. 5. The question was who broke the window, not how did it break. 6. By chance is a description of an action, it does not act however. 7. The correct response is, so and so broke it, then one can say whether or not it was on purpose or by chance/accident. 8. Who brought about the universe? 9. It came about by chance. 10. The above response is a fallacy. 11. The question was not how did the universe come about, but it was who brought it about. 12. Chance does not act, it can only describe acts. 13. Chance/randomness/accidents can therefore not create, or bring anything about, let alone the universe. Explanation. This one is also extremely obvious. By chance, randomly, by accident are statements we use to describe actions, they themselves however are not actions. How then do people make the stupid statement that the universe was created by chance? This is no doubt one of the stupidest things that could ever come out of a person's mouth. How some of these so-called intellectuals and academics allow themselves to make such statements baffles me. No, what really baffles me actually is that we give them such titles. Such people aren't intellectuals, they've abandoned their intellect if anything. Ha ha ha, intellectuals, I think someone's having a laugh. Color code, green equals verb, blue equals adverb. One of the things adverbs do is modify verbs. This means that they describe the way an action is happening. Philip sings loudly in the shower. My cat waits impatiently for his food. I will seriously consider your suggestion. The adverbs in each of the sentences above answer the question, in what manner? How does Philip sing? Loudly. How does my cat wait? Impatiently. How will I consider your suggestion? Seriously. Adverbs can answer other types of questions about how an action was performed. https://www.grammarly.com/blog/adverb https://www.grammarly.com/blog/adverb. See how saying by chance is not an answer. Also in actuality, their statement proves they recognize a cause for the universe whether they like it or not, because by chance describes the cause's action. There's no adverb without a verb, action, that the cause created all this by chance, or accidentally. Though is still a false claim, don't get me wrong. But what they don't realize, the poor guys, is that saying by chance doesn't answer the question of who created the universe, nor does it replace the necessity of a creator for this universe. Poor souls, when will they learn? The maintenance of order evidence. 1. The universe functions with order. 2. The order in the universe is maintained. 3. Random causes cannot produce order to begin with. 4. Random causes cannot maintain order, they do the opposite, create chaos. 5. The universe is not the work of random causes. Explanation. These are all so obvious I don't even know why I'm explaining them. Let's start off by defining random. Made, done, or happening without method or conscious decision. Oxford. Without method, you say? Let's take one simple example of something happening with method in this universe, particularly on Earth, known to us all as the water cycle. Cycle, a series of events that are regularly repeated in the same order. Oxford. Water cycle, also called hydrologic cycle, cycle that involves the continuous circulation of water in the Earth atmosphere system. Of the many processes involved in the water cycle, the most important are evaporation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation, and runoff. Although the total amount of water within the cycle remains essentially constant, its distribution among the various processes is continually changing. https://www.britannica.com/science/water-cycle. So the water cycle is a system of many processes that continuously repeats itself. I mean, do I really need to say anything further? Well, I'm going to anyway. Some people, in fact many people, have this unjustified reliance and faith in chance and random causes, failing to understand that these so-called random causes by definition aren't random at all. I'll show you how. A random cause brings out an effect that occurs without intent and design. This by definition is what makes it random. Therefore, the moment we see a system at work, which is the result of intent and design, we are automatically barred from ever considering the possibility of it being the result of randomness. Random causes by definition must produce random effects, free of order and design. The fact of the matter is that random causes can only produce the opposite of order and design, nothing further, i.e. chaos and flukes, and we established earlier that flukes aren't an evidence for design except in the case of repetition, and this would only prove once again, by definition, that these effects can't in actuality be the result of random causes, because they are designed. So if someone was to claim that the apparency of design in the universe is a mere fluke, I'll tell them to take their atheist garbage someplace else, because there's no place for it in a world where these so-called flukes are repeating themselves. No sir, it can't be a fluke if it keeps happening again and again. How do they not understand this? The Creator must have certain names and attributes. Evidence. 1. The Creator's existence is an attribute of His essence. 2. All things that came into being are dependent on Him in their existence. 3. He must then be the provider, the sustainer, the creator of all things, eternal, rich and free of need. 4. The creation is complexly designed. 5. Complexly designed creation cannot come about except with intent, knowledge, strength, ability and will. 6. If He is the creator of all things, then He must have knowledge over all things, strength over all things, and ability over all things. How could He not? He creates it. 7. The creation is mighty and vast. 8. The Creator must have immense strength and knowledge over all His creation. Explanation. The creation that we see around us, not to mention within our own selves, is nothing but a testimony to the wisdom of the Creator, the strength, will and intent of the Creator, the awe-inspiring capability of the Creator, and that everything we see being dependent on Him in their existence, including their remaining in existence, means He is the Creator in truth, the sustainer in truth and the disposer of all affairs in truth. Our existence being impossible without His eternal nature is a testimony to exactly that. We can't avoid believing that He is the Eternal One no matter how much we try, nor can we deny that He is rich and free of all needs, and of course, nothing exists except that He brought it into existence, and there was a time when nothing existed, so how could He be dependent on it if it didn't exist? Instead He creates out of virtue and favor, and He deserves that we recognize Him for this end. Submit ourselves to Him in worship, associating with Him none other, for it is none but Him in truth who is responsible for all that we have and all that we are. That being so, only the most arrogant and self-centered of us would deny Him what He deserves of gratefulness and thanks. What I've stated above is based on two principles. 1. The action of a being testifies to the attributes of that being. So if someone oppresses someone, we call them what? An oppressor. If someone donates to others, we call them what? A donator. Etc. I don't need to drag this one on, it goes without saying really. 2. The provider of an attribute has more right to it. This will be explained in the next point. The Creator must be perfect. Evidence. 1. The creation have no attributes without the Creator providing them. 2. Something must be possessed in order for it to be provided. 3. The creation are being provided with perfect attributes. 4. The Creator has more right to them, being that they come from Him. 5. Every perfect attribute negates a deficient attribute. 6. Every deficient attribute is in fact the absence of a perfect attribute. 7. Whenever the creation exhibit deficient attributes, this is a result of the Creator not providing them with said attributes. 8. Whenever the creation exhibit perfect attributes, this is a result of the Creator providing them with said attributes. 9. The deficient attributes of the creation are an evidence for the imperfection of the creation. 10. The perfect attributes of the creation are an evidence for the perfection of the Creator. 11. The Creator is perfect. Explanation. As we all know, humans didn't exist at one point. This means we had no attributes, we had no sight, no hearing, no ability to speak, nothing. We had to acquire these attributes from somewhere though, didn't we? That's right, that somewhere is more a something, the Creator. We must reinforce the understanding first and foremost that the Creator is a separate being to his creation. Our acquiring of attributes from the Creator does not mean they were acquired from his essence. No, this is impossible. The Creator does not break into parts as his essence does not resemble his creation. He created all forms, and him being uncreated must therefore mean he transcends all created forms. So this principle, in this context, only states that a quality cannot be provided if it isn't possessed by the provider himself. Now when we look at the creation, we find the creation possessing a range of perfect qualities. Restricted no doubt, but perfect within their restrictions. So don't let your mind wander off into denying perfection due to the presence of restrictions. Before we move on, let's define the word perfect. Perfect, having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics, as good as it is possible to be. Oxford. This is what we mean when we say perfect attributes. Examples are, not limited to. Knowledge, wisdom, intent, will, strength, power, capability, truthfulness, justness, mercy, love, in its rightful place, hate, in its rightful place, forgiveness, forbearance, sight, hearing, speech, protectiveness, might, trustworthiness, generosity, etc. Now, I'd like you to picture a figure with the least amount of attributes possible. You're probably picturing like a colorless ball, right? Haha, it doesn't matter. Now begin to add to it these attributes. Simply, if I ask you, what was the original state of this figure? You will say that all these attributes were absent until I added them on, in the same way, conceptually, that the Creator provided us with them. Hence you realize the origin is absence of any attributes until the Creator provides us with whatever attributes they be. Meaning deficiencies don't really exist, they're only an absence of a complete perfect attribute. Suppose if someone can't hear, there's no actual attribute that causes someone not to hear. No, it is no more than a deficiency. You haven't gained something, rather you're lacking something. Hence deficiencies aren't something that are provided, they occur by a lack of providing. This tells us that the Creator cannot be described by the deficiencies of mankind as he did not provide them. They're non-existent in nature, rather mankind's deficiencies are an evidence of their nature, original absence of attributes, and the perfections of mankind are an evidence for the Creator's perfection, because all perfect attributes are provided by him, and there's no way he could provide us with them if he didn't possess them himself. Consequently, we must affirm for the Creator all perfect attributes and deny any description of him that consists of any kind of deficiency whatsoever. Therefore, any religion that is not consistent with the perfection of the Creator, you can put a nice fat X on it, a little life hack for determining the true religion from the false ones. The Creator's perfect attributes are unrestricted. Evidence. 1. The creation's possession of attributes are restricted to that which they are provided with. 2. The Creator's attributes are not provided to him by other than him. 3. The Creator's attributes are infused with his essence. 4. There is no one to place restrictions on the Creator. 5. The Creator is unrestricted. Explanation. Once again, what can I say except how much these don't require explanations, but as usual, I'll give one anyway. Let's define restrictions. The limitation or control of someone or something, or the state of being restricted. Oxford. Who in the bloody world, or out of it even, is going to place restrictions on the Creator? Our restrictions in our attributes only exist because they were given to us at the level of his choosing. As for him, did anyone choose to give him his attributes, or did he always possess them eternally? So the same way he is unrestricted in his existence due to his eternal essence, I tell you likewise are his attributes, they are not separate from him, but are instead infused with his essence, hence the same ruling must be applied to them that is applied to his essence. What ruling is that? That the Creator is unrestricted. End of story. There's actually more to the story, but we'll leave it at this for now.